everyone, it's Sierra coming to you from the Interpersonal Communicational Unit. And today our patients are Frank and Margarita, and we're going to diagnose them with conflict avoidance and defensive communication. And conflict avoidance is when somebody shuts down, which is Margarita. And then defensive communication is Frank, because he always feels like he's being criticized. And so he reacts to he blames, he makes excuses, and he becomes very rude. And everybody knows that I'm on the Frank hate trade. I haven't liked Frank since the beginning, and I don't even like him in the end. Because in episode 11, during the navigation task, Frank becomes frustrated with Margarita when she's just trying to help with the directions. And he gets defensive and says, I'm not doing anything wrong. But really, we all know that he's always doing something wrong, okay? And then this is when Margarita does what she always does, which she shuts down and she avoids eye contact. So that's the conflict avoidance meeting the defensiveness. And it's creating a negative environment for each other, and it always hurts their teamwork in the end, honestly. And then the final leg in episode 13, when Frank again is criticizing Margarita about the directions, and she responds, just forget it, because they in the end, she tired and she ready to go home, and you can see it all over her face. And she withdraws emotionally. And then Frank becomes more defensive because he know he did something wrong, and he insists on he's just trying to win, but it escalates the tension instead of solving it. And what I want to prescribe them is supportive communication, which is using the I language, insisting instead of blaming each other, they should just say, I'm trying to help you, I'm trying to do this so we can win. But no, it never comes off like that. And then also, they should practice active listening. They should listen to understand and not to attack. And we always see, like, Margarita's trying to listen to Frank, and Frank's not really trying to listen to Margarita. And he always cuts her off and says something, and then he becomes rude. That's how I feel about Frank, okay? We all know this. Because I think he should show empathy towards her and acknowledge each other's stress. They're both stressed. They've been through a lot, and they're in the end. And I feel like in the middle they got better, and then they weren't better. And then also they should work on collaborating with each other. Instead of criticizing and arguing about stuff during the challenges, they should come up with a game plan before the challenges, which they do sometimes, but it always falls short in the end. And if they follow these steps, they can replace the defensive climate with supportive climate, and they'll be able to work with each other effectively. And they should be great in the end, but we see that did not happen. And I want to thank everybody for watching this video on Frank and Margarita. Have a nice night.